With nothing else to do, Daphne creates a website where her fans and friends can chat with her. There everyone is having a good time as they recall the mysteries that Mystery Inc. has solved. Suddenly a lawyer shows up and delivers an urgent message to Velma. He introduces himself as the family attorney and explains that Velma is inheriting a vast fortune. But instead of letting him continue, Velma cuts him off because she senses something suspicious. That strange feeling immediately stirs Fred's adventurous spirit, so he gathers the gang and heads to the lawyer's office. Soon after, Mystery Inc. learns that Velma is to inherit an estate from her late uncle in Transylvania. The moment Scooby-Doo and Shaggy hear the name Transylvania, they panic, imagining monsters waiting for them there. The lawyer, however, quickly reassures them that this Transylvania is only a small town in Pennsylvania, not the infamous region in Romania. As soon as Daphne hears Romania, she grows uneasy, picturing the grim lifestyle of the 19th century. Meanwhile, a mysterious man approaches Fred's beloved mystery machine and plants a bomb inside. At the same time, the lawyer goes on, explaining that Transylvania carries a curse. Anyone who comes too close to the land of Baron Basil, who is Velma's uncle, will see what they love most destroyed. The gang leaves troubled and uncertain. Velma, being the sole heir, is technically about to become nobility. But she dismisses the talk of curses, firmly rejecting it as superstition since she is an atheist. As Mystery Inc. gets closer to the mystery machine, Fred suddenly hears a ticking sound like the countdown of a bomb. He shouts for everyone to get back. Just then the stranger appears, and in the next moment, Fred watches helplessly as his cherished mystery machine explodes before his eyes. Overcome with grief, he cannot hold back his tears. While the mysterious man vanishes without a trace, the lawyer then declares that what they are seeing is the ghost of the Baron himself, the very source of the curse. Though he warns the gang to stay away from Transylvania, Fred refuses to accept it because his precious car is gone, and he swears to do whatever it takes to avenge it. If they cannot travel on four wheels anymore, then Mystery Inc. will continue their journey by train. It is only then that Velma reveals the true reason behind her lifelong obsession with exposing the supernatural, a dark and shameful family secret that haunts her still. Like many other immigrant families, Velma's original name is Americanized when her family first arrives by ship. Her real surname is von Dinkenstein, and she is a descendant of the infamous Dr. von Dinkenstein, who is said to have created a monster that inspired the famous novelist Mary Shelley to write Frankenstein. Although Velma does not believe her ancestor actually created such a creature, the reputation born from Mary Shelley's story has cast a long shadow over her family. That is also why Velma is so obsessed with solving supernatural mysteries and proving they are nothing but hoaxes. Suddenly the train begins to accelerate and the cars at the back plunge into the sea. Realizing that at this rate they will all be dragged down, Mystery Inc. tells everyone to run forward to the cars ahead. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are about to tell the train driver to slow down, but to their shock, the driver turns out to be the ghost of the Baron. "You should have heeded my warning, but you chose to reject it, and now you will suffer the curse of von Dinkenstein." The situation grows dire as the engine bursts into flames and only two cars remain. The gang comes up with a desperate plan, sacrificing themselves to drag the remaining car back onto the rails. Fred then detaches the burning engine so that the last car will be safe. At long last, Mystery Inc. reaches Transylvania after countless perils. The moment the inspector sees Velma, he recognizes her as a member of the von Dinkenstein family. The mayor, however, raises a troubling question. If the monster was already destroyed, then why does the ghost of the Baron still haunt this place and prevent the town from thriving? Ever since then, no one from the von Dinkenstein family has been welcome here. Suddenly, a hunchback man appears and tells Mystery Inc. to follow him, with the angry crowd closing in. They have no choice but to climb onto his carriage. Curious Shaggy asks the man his name and he replies Iago. He explains that in every generation of the von Dinkenstein family, there is always a hunchback servant who brings fortune to the household. Fred then wonders why the ghost of the Baron wears a metal mask. Iago explains that it all began when the Baron first conducted his experiments. He gathered different body parts from around the world and combined them to create a living being. But the villagers eventually discovered what he was doing. Forced to flee with his creation, the Baron tried to escape as far as possible. In the end, however, both he and the monster were captured and burned by the villagers. The monster is destroyed and the Baron's face is completely deformed, so he has to wear a metal mask to cover it. That is also the reason why the Baron's ghost casts a curse on the town of Transylvania. Then Iago leads the paranormal organization to the front of Von Dinkenstein's castle. There they meet the strict housekeeper Mrs. Vanders, who quickly takes everyone on a tour of the castle. But the group doesn't expect that they are being secretly watched. Soon Mrs. Vanders leads them into the laboratory of her Uncle Basil von Dinkenstein. The monster that was once burned long ago is preserved here, as Mrs. Vanders has frozen the remaining parts to keep them intact. Even though Velma sees it with her own eyes, she still doesn't believe that the Franken monster is real. She tries everything to prove it is fake, chasing everyone out so she can focus on her research. But Velma doesn't expect that Mrs. Vanders will harm her by using a hypnotic machine. Meanwhile, the others feel hungry and go down to the town of Transylvania. The mayor says that a torch festival is being held, but Scooby-Doo and Shaggy's attention is quickly caught by a donut-eating contest. The two immediately sign up for it but are mocked by the others. So Scooby-Doo and Shaggy decide to show them what true love for food really looks like. In no time, 3 men collapse, leaving only Scooby-Doo and Shaggy standing. The winner is clear, so the mayor hurriedly gives them the prize, which is a set of local clothes. Meanwhile, Daphne wants to buy clothes to blend in with the locals, but she doesn't expect the gypsy shopkeeper to insist that this outfit is the only one that suits her. Daphne looks into the mirror and is shocked because it fits perfectly, until she realizes it makes her look overweight. At the same time, Fred is still drowning in the grief of losing the mystery machine. His whole world feels shattered since its loss. Back in town, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are given 2 giant hot dogs, but for the first time ever they don't understand why they no longer want to eat. Their bottomless stomachs suddenly cannot take any more food. Seeing them refuse the prize angers the mayor and the villagers, who think Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are disrespecting them. They raise their torches and chase after the duo. Fred, who lost in sadness under the rain, accidentally bumps into them, with Daphne also there and still weighed down by her insecurity. Then, surprise after surprise, Iago rides in with his carriage and announces that Velma has suddenly gone insane. Hearing this, the Mystery Inc. immediately rushes back to Von Dinkenstein's castle. As soon as they open the lab door, they see Velma in a different form. No longer the bookworm girl, because now she directly revives the Franken monster. But that's no different than you refusing to fight against supernatural magic. This is not magic, Shaggy. This is science. Meanwhile, the angry crowd is right behind the door, and it's only a matter of time before they break in. So Velma immediately orders Iago to help her revive the Franken monster. Just as the crowd smashes the door, lightning strikes the ice that holds Franken. Finally, Velma succeeds in bringing it back to life once again. Contrary to Scooby-Doo and Shaggy's timid nature whenever they see monsters, now both of them feel even more thrilled when facing Franken. Franken looks around and realizes how ugly it is, which makes it insecure and furious, venting all its rage on the people of Transylvania. Meanwhile, Daphne also feels insecure when she sees that she no longer has the appearance of a hot girl. Fred grows exhausted since the mystery machine is blown up. Only Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are willing to volunteer to find Franken and bring it back to Velma. Fred, on the other hand, sneaks into a dark room and starts remembering the beautiful days with the van in the past. Daphne runs into a room full of mirrors, and seeing herself so ugly makes her burst into tears. "I warned you, but you didn't listen. Don't blame me for being cruel. The curse has fallen upon you, and each of you must lose the thing you cherish the most." Unable to accept the fact that she has lost her beauty, Daphne hurls a vase straight at the mirror, and as a result, a secret tunnel appears before her eyes. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy shed their timid selves and now boldly face Franken. Unexpectedly, the prey becomes the hunter. The monsters that once made them flee are now nothing but a joke to the two of them. Franken runs away but suddenly gets hit by a tranquilizer arrow. It turns out Velma can't wait any longer, so she takes action. At the same time, Daphne goes deeper into the secret tunnel and realizes something is wrong because someone has left old mining equipment here. The ghost of the Baron appears once again, and this time he chooses to confront Daphne directly. Her scream quickly reaches Fred's ears. Realizing that his friend is in danger, he immediately rushes to rescue her. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are already in Velma's hands. Captured together with the hulking Franken, Velma intends to grant the monster a brain, but she insists that only a combination of Scooby-Doo and Shaggy's brains can make it perfect. While waiting, the restless Franken accidentally rips their clothes, and this small accident strangely restores the pair to their usual selves. Hungry, clumsy, and timid as always, Daphne, on the other hand, is desperately trying to escape the Baron's ghost, though her body now looks plump and awkward. She moves with surprising agility, slipping past every attempt of his grasp, just as the Baron corners her at the end of a narrow passage. Fred bursts onto the scene. With only rough everyday items at his disposal, he cleverly turns them into makeshift weapons strong enough to stand against the ghost's sword. But the Baron is cunning that he plays a cruel psychological trick by reminding Fred of the destruction of the mystery machine, which strikes straight at his heart. Daphne, however, quickly pulls out the car keys she has kept safe and uses them to reignite Fred's determination. Fred finds his strength multiplied as though he has gained 200% support. With renewed energy, he turns the tide and manages to push the Baron's ghost into a corner. With no other option, the ghost abandons his cloak and slips away into the darkness. Daphne approaches the discarded fabric and is startled to discover it is merely cheap synthetic material, the kind that could be bought anywhere, whereas it should have been ancient sil. While Fred and Daphne puzzle over this strange clue, the Baron causes the tunnel to collapse, sending rocks crashing down toward them. Miraculously, both Fred and Daphne remain unharmed. Fred is trying hard to find a way out, but the gas suffocates him and he faints. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are being approached by Velma. In that desperate moment, both of them suddenly remember their own talent for eating, so they quickly chew through the ropes and free themselves. Seeing this, Velma has no choice but to release the Franken creep monster to chase after them, but the creature accidentally crashes into the hypnosis machine. At the same time, Daphne is forced to take Fred's place in finding a way to escape. While digging through the passage, her shirt suddenly tears, but she feels no pain at all. It is only then that Daphne realizes she is wearing an inflatable suit. Thanks to that discovery, she wakes herself up and summons all her strength to break free. On the other side, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are running for their lives from the Franken creep. As soon as they rush into a room, they barricade all the doors and windows, but the most important door is left unlocked. Because of this mistake, the Franken creep breaks in, and the two have no choice but to continue running at full speed. During their frantic escape, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy accidentally bump into Fred and Daphne, with Velma also joining them, making the group of Mystery Inc. whole again. Suddenly, Iago appears and warns everyone to run as quickly as possible, because gas is leaking into the tunnels. It turns out there is a natural gas deposit under the castle that is seeping inside. Realizing the danger, Fred whistles sharply, and a carriage shaped like the mystery machine arrives instantly. The members of Mystery Inc. scramble onto the carriage to escape from Von Dinkenstein's castle. But everything is already too late. The gas makes contact with a single flame and triggers a massive explosion. From a distance, the villagers of Transylvania witness the destruction of Von Dinkenstein's castle, but instead of mourning, they break into celebration. For without the curse of the Baron's ghost, they finally feel a deep sense of relief and freedom. After drinking, the inspector on his way home is haunted by the spirit of the mystery machine. Next comes Gypsy, the one who sold clothes to Daphne. She is haunted by the very outfit she once sold. The third is the mayor, who is followed everywhere by Velma's furious spirit. Lastly, the housekeeper Vanders. She is chased by two costumes of Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. Before long, all those who harmed the Mystery Inc. find themselves gathered together. In despair, they spot a train about to leave and rush toward it. But they never expect the driver to be Fred in disguise. Only the front car manages to depart while the ones behind get stuck again. It turns out that everything is Fred's plan, as he secretly tries to turn fear back onto the villains. But he forgets they still have the Franken creep monster. The gang doesn't expect that inside it is Iago, and within Iago is Federal Agent Schmidlap from the U.S. Department of Defense. The Franken creep is just a suit created by the military but stolen from their lab, which is why they traced it all the way to Transylvania. As for the plan of the four villains, it isn't about treasure but about personal revenge. Masks are pulled away one after another, and the gang is shocked to recognize villains they once unmasked before. The lawyer and the inspector are the same, the ones who created the Baron's curse that forces everyone into this mystery. First, Fred is blown away along with the mystery machine. Next, Daphne is stuffed into an inflatable suit. Finally, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are struck by acupuncture needles sewn into the costumes, hitting their pressure points to block hunger and give them fake courage. Above all, the real target is not treasure but the Mystery Inc. itself. For criminals from old cases once jailed together have plotted their revenge. After discovering Velma's ancestral history, they save enough to buy Von Dinkenstein Castle and blend into the town of Transylvania. What confuses Velma most is that usually villains aim for treasure, but this time they bought a land rich in natural gas. They could have sold it for a fortune, but hatred blinded them from seeing the wealth in their hands. Afterward, the town of Transylvania no longer looks gloomy but turns brighter and alive. Velma proves that the Baron's curse is not real, so the townsfolk can finally live without fear. She even hands over her family's land to them. giving them a chance for a better life. Agent Schmidlap also gives Fred a brand new mystery machine as thanks for capturing the 4 notorious criminals. The gang soon rides again, but this time things are different. The new mystery machine is now equipped with a nitro system for sudden bursts of speed.